All right. Racket number 2, we are going to an Inman article. This is another just big absolute miss by someone. So here's the headline. These are the 10 states where homes are taking the longest to sell. And this is a new report. A new report has found that when taking into account both how long homes sit on the market and how long deals take to close, listings in New York State sell at a slower pace than anywhere in the U.S. The report is from online bank tangerine.ca. In the comments, if you've ever heard of the tangerine.ca, they're a Canadian company, obviously. Love to hear from you if you've heard from these folks. They found that in New York, homes take on an average of 130.45 days to close. Well, if you're an agent right now in New York, in the comments, tell me, is it taking 130 days to close on a home? Don't care where you are in New York. Want to know over or under that number in the comments. All right. So here's the top 10, and I'll hear you, and then I'll tell you why this is a complete racket. So number 1, New York, 130 days. Number 2, so this is the top 10 slowest selling states. Okay. Number 2 is Hawaii, total of 118 days. Number 3 is New Jersey, 117 days. Number 4, West Virginia at 113 days. Number 5, North Dakota at 112. Maryland, number 6 at 110 days. Connecticut, just about 108 days. At number 7, Mississippi, 105 days. Vermont, 103 days. And Delaware, 103 days to round out the top 10. So those are your top 10 slowest selling states. All right. Now, I went on to the Connecticut MLS. And in July, it took 37 days on average for a house to get under contract. You got about 45 days after that. So their number is way off. And what's happening right now in the market? If I go to just the median days on market, it's even lower. And I have access to MLS in Connecticut, so that's why I'm pulling that. But love to hear if you're in any of the other top 10 states, what the average or the median is for you. The median days on market in Connecticut, this is the entire MLS, all property types added together. 19 days, okay? So then I go back to this tangerine.ca study, and they pulled their data from Zillow, and they pulled it for the last 4 years. Well, if I'm an agent and I'm educating a seller on today's market, on listing their property in the next 30 days, it doesn't matter how long it took for a house to sell in 2018, 2019. I want to talk to them about what's happening right now, what happened in the spring market, and where the trend is from that point to today. How long are homes sitting on the market that are priced well, that are marketed appropriately, and that have pride of ownership, right? What's happening right now in our market? So this is why when reports like tangerine.ca come out as agents, and they're just sucking data out of Zillow, not talking to an agent. They didn't quote a single agent in this study. They didn't use or reference any of these 10 MLSs. This is why, as agents, when we see a report like this, we need to absolutely go out there and shred it, because this report doesn't actually help sellers make a great decision about when to list their house or how long they can expect to be on the market. And just going back to racket number 1, when you want to talk to companies like Opendoor or read crap reports that aren't coming from the actual expert doing 80 or 90% of the business in your community, you know, those top 10 real estate professionals, those, as Tom Toole and David Childers like to say, those knowledge brokers in the industry, when you're not talking to one of those, this is the crap information that your consumers are absorbing, and they don't know what to do with it, right? They take that for gospel. Whoa, Zillow said this, and listen, buried in this report, even buried in this Inman article, it says, well, this was from the last 4 years. This is a crap study. It means absolutely nothing. I want to look at what's happening over the last couple of months. If I'm listing my home right now, I don't care about 2018 for days on market. It has no bearing on what my next 60 or 90 days as a seller might look like. And the good agents are going to be having that conversation, are going to be shredding this report, and are going to be sharing that data with their database and everybody else. All right, so quick little pod today, solo style. Really miss Nicole on it. The throat is closing up. I mentioned earlier in the pod, I legitimately have a 101 fever right now, but when you have the greatest media company in all of real estate that Broke Agent Media is, you have to just fight through it. And that's what we're doing over here at BAM. Every single day we got a new pod. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, Broke Agent Media, you've got to do it. There's some killer content that is going to be added, some killer podcasts. Taya DeCarlo just announced a pod, and we've got some educational stuff. Eric just dropped an educational piece on Instagram yesterday that is absolutely killer. So make sure you're subscribed to the pod. There's a lot happening there. Really appreciate you guys for following along this show. Next week, Nicole's going to be back. We're going to be in studio. We'll be together as long as this, this fever is gone, which I'm convinced it will be by tomorrow. We'll be together in person in our new third segment that I've been teasing out the last few weeks, which is, by the way, I'm not going to reach over to my bag. I have a journal. It's all laid out how this segment's going to go. I'm really excited about it. We're going to launch it next week. We're going to also know who the Inman Innovator Award winner is. I have a real feeling, since Leonetti and Eric are going out there, that it's going to be them. So maybe an early congrats to them. On my pod this Friday, I may be talking to them while they are in Las Vegas at Inman Connect. But all right. Really appreciate you guys. Consider subscribing and liking this video if you've not done so already. And we'll see you on the next Real Word. Keep it real. Hey guys, appreciate you checking out this episode of The Real Word. If you want the full episode, go over to the Broke Agent YouTube. That's where we're hosting the full podcast. If you want to continue to see the segments broken out and the short clips, stay right here on The Real Word YouTube.